Dear students, welcome back. In the previous session, we have discussed about metatarsal joint function, that is supination twist and pronation twist. Now in this session, we are going to discuss about the other joints present in the ankle and foot complex, that is metatarsophalangeal joints. Metatarsophalangeal joints. So there are 5 metatarsophalangeal joints, and which are condyloid synovial joints with 2 degrees of freedom. One is extension and as well as flexion. Extension is called as dorsiflexion and another one is the plantarflexion, that is flexion, and abduction and adduction movements, abduction and adduction. So these are the movements which are taking place in the metatarsophalangeal joint. So although both degrees of freedom might be useful to the metatarsophalangeal joints, in a very rare instances where the foot participates in grasping like activities, then flexion and extension are the predominant functional movements of these joints. Only during grasping, then the flexion and extension movements of this metatarsophalangeal joints predominate the abduction as well as the adduction movements. And also during the late stance phase of walking, toe extension at the metatarsophalangeal joints permits the foot to pass over the toes. So during the last phase of or late stance phase of walking, the toe extension at the metatarsophalangeal joints permits the foot, the entire foot, okay, to pass over the toes, whereas the metatarsal heads and toes help balance the superimposed body weight through activity of the intrinsic and extrinsic muscles. So this is about the metatarsophalangeal joint as well as its function. Now we will see in detail about the structure of the metatarsophalangeal joints. Okay, so the metatarsophalangeal joints are formed by proximally the convex heads of the metatarsals and distally by the concave bases of the proximal phalanges. So these are the articulating surfaces of all the phalanges, metatarsophalangeal joints. So totally how many? 5 metatarsophalangeal joints. So for all the things, for all these joints, the metatarsal head articulates with the respective phalanges. That means the first metatarsal articulates with the base of the first proximal phalanx, like that. Okay, so here one interesting thing is present, that is metatarsal length. Okay, here the lengths of the 5 metatarsals may vary among individuals and are classified into 3 types. Okay, one is index plus minus and index minus. So how many types? So it is the metatarsals, the length of the metatarsals are classified into 3 types. One is index plus, another one is index plus minus, okay, and index minus. Another one is index minus, or it is also called as Morton's foot. Now we will discuss. So what do you mean by index plus? It is characterized by the first metatarsal. The first metatarsal is being longer than the second. So that means the first metatarsal is longer than the second metatarsal, and the remaining are continued as in the decreasing order. So first, second, third, fourth and fifth. This such kind of length, the first metatarsal being longer than the second, then it is called as index plus type. Okay. Now we will see index plus minus. So what happens in the index plus minus? It is characterized by the first and second metatarsals being the same length. So the first and second metatarsals being the same length, okay, with the other remaining three progressively decreasing. That is 1, 2 is at the same height, and third, fourth and fifth, this will be present in the decreasing order. So then such kind of metatarsal lengths are called as index plus minus. Next, another one is called as index minus. So if you can see in the index minus or Morton's foot, it is classified as the second metatarsal being the longest. That means the second metatarsal being the longest and progressively followed by the first metatarsal and then third, fourth and fifth. So such kind of arrangement or the lengths, then it is called as index minus or Morton's foot. And a Morton's foot has been hypothesized to cause an increased force through the second metatarsals, which predisposes to the injury such as stress fracture. So such kind of foot will have stress fractures. So the relationship between metatarsal length and injury pattern, sometimes it is unclear, and it is also not supported the hypothesis in the athletes also. Okay, so these have given this is one of the interesting thing related to the lengths of the metatarsals. Again we will move on to the structure. The structure of the metatarsophalangeal joints is same as the structure of metacarpophalangeal joints of the hand, but with few exceptions. And also the same volar plates are present, isn't it? The same type of plates we can see in the plantar aspect of these joints here also. Okay, so there are some few exceptions also we can see when compared to metacarpophalangeal joints and metatarsophalangeal joints. So here if you see the range of metatarsophalangeal extension, which exceeds the range of metatarsophalangeal flexion. That means the extension range is more than that of the flexion. Okay, so all metatarsal heads, so that means all metatarsal heads bear weight in stance. So all these metatarsal heads bear weight in stance. So then what happens? The articular cartilage must remain clear of the weight bearing surface on the plantar aspect of the metatarsal head. This structural requirement restricts the available range of metatarsophalangeal flexion. That is why the metatarsophalangeal flexion is going to reduce here. Okay, now so here when we see with the MCP, that is metacarpophalangeal joints with that of metatarsophalangeal joints, there is no opposition available at the first tarsometatarsal joint. Okay, and the first toe here, the first toe moves exclusively in the same planes as that of the 4 digits. What we have already seen the axis of all these 4 digits. in the metatarsal joints. The first metatarsophalangeal joint has two sesamoid bones. Here you can find the sesamoid. So this is the radiograph. The two sesamoid bones can easily be seen sitting on the head of the first metatarsal. So here you can find the sesamoid bone. On the other side we can find the sesamoid bone. So two sesamoid bones associated with it, and these are located on the plantar aspect of the first metatarsal head. Okay, and which is same as that of the sesamoid bones on the volar surface of the metacarpophalangeal joint. In the neutral position of the first metatarsophalangeal joint, the sesamoid bones normally lie in the groove. So the two sesamoid bones lie in the groove of on the plantar aspect of the metatarsals. Okay, and these two sesamoid bones are separated by a ridge called as intersesamoid ridge on the metatarsal head. The ligaments associated with the sesamoid bones form a triangular mass that stabilize the sesamoid bones within the grooves. Okay, the sesamoid bones serve as anatomical pulleys, okay, for the flexor hallucis brevis muscle and protect the tendon of flexor hallucis longus muscle from weight bearing trauma. Okay, so flexor hallucis, so the sesamoid bones acts as a pulley for flexor hallucis brevis tendon, as well as it protects the tendon of the flexor hallucis longus muscle from weight bearing trauma. The flexor hallucis longus is actually protected as it passes through a tunnel formed by the sesamoid bones and the intersesamoidal ligament. That means here the sesamoid bones are connected, and over this intersesamoid groove. So below this ligament you'll have a tunnel like, so through that this flexor hallucis longus tendon is passed through. Okay, and the sesamoid bones, unlike the sesamoid bones of the thumb, the sesamoid bones of the first metatarsal absorb weight-bearing stress along with the relatively large quadrilateral shaped first metatarsal head. Here the first metatarsal is having an important function, that is to absorb weight-bearing stress along with the relatively large quadrilateral shaped first metatarsal head. With toe extension greater than 10 degrees, then these sesamoid bones is no longer lie in the grooves and may become unstable. So chronic lateral instability of the sesamoid bones may lead to metatarsophalangeal deformity. Okay, and stability of the metatarsophalangeal joints is provided by number of ligaments. Okay, so it is provided by joint capsule. First one is joint capsule, and then the plantar plates like volar plates. Here we can find the plantar plates and collateral ligaments and the deep transverse metatarsal ligaments. Okay, so these plantar plates are structurally similar to that of the volar plates in the hand, and these fibrocartilaginous structures in the four lesser toes are each connected to the base of the proximal phalange distally and blend with the joint capsule proximally. Okay. So the plates of the 4 lesser toes are interconnected by the deep transverse ligament, okay, and the plantar aponeurosis. Okay, so these are all about the structures which are giving stability to the metatarsophalangeal joints. Now if you see the collateral ligaments, so these collateral ligaments of the metatarsophalangeal joints is also having the same type of fibers which we have seen in the MCP collateral ligaments in the hand. Here it is also consisting of 2 components. One is a phalangeal portion that parallels the metatarsals and the phalanges. So phalangeal portion, for example, if you take 2 phalanges, so some of the collaterals which are parallel, the fibers are parallel here, and it is having an accessory component that runs obliquely from metatarsal head to plantar plate. So some of the fibers which are running obliquely, okay, on the plantar aspect, okay, from head to the plantar plate. Actually the plate is present on the plantar aspect. So these are the obliquely arranged fibers of the collateral ligaments. The plantar plates protect the weight bearing surface of the metatarsal heads, and with the collateral ligaments contribute to stability of the metatarsophalangeal joints. So this is the main function of this plantar plate as well as the collateral ligaments. What is the function of plantar plate? It is protecting the weight bearing surface of the metatarsal heads. Okay. Whereas this collateral ligaments contribute stability of the metatarsophalangeal joints. Okay. Each plantar plate therefore serves as a central stabilizing structure with a fibrocartilaginous composition that allows it to withstand compressive loads. Okay, at the first metatarsophalangeal joint, the sesamoid bones are very thick sesamoid bones and thick plantar capsule or in place of the plantar plates found in the other toes. Okay. So at the first metatarsophalangeal joint we can find the sesamoid bones and thick plantar capsule or in the place of the plantar plates found in the other toes. So in the other toes we can't find the sesamoid bones. Okay. So for that reason they will have a thick plantar capsule which are placed in the place of plantar plates found in other toes. So this is about the metatarsophalangeal joint structure. In the next session we are going to discuss about metatarsophalangeal joint function. As we know that the metatarsophalangeal joint is having 2 degrees of freedom, that is flexion extension, that is plantar flexion and dorsiflexion, and also abduction and adduction, and this extension exceeds flexion. So in the next session we are going to discuss about the metatarsophalangeal extension that is called as metatarsal break. Okay, so in the next session we are going to discuss about that function. Thank you.